What if you could disappear, not just from people, but from the version of yourself that never felt quite right? What if vanishing was the only way to truly begin again, not as an escape, but as a rebirth? Most people think disappearing is about running away. It's not. It's about stepping out of sight long enough to meet the person you were always meant to be, without noise, without eyes, without pressure. In a world that constantly watches, rates, and comments, choosing to vanish has become the most rebellious and powerful act. Not through faking your death or fleeing to some remote forest, but by becoming invisible in plain sight, by unplugging, detaching, and sinking into silence. That's where real transformation begins. In this video, you'll learn the art of strategic disappearance. We'll explore how to let go of the identity others have built around you and construct a new self quietly, with purpose. You'll discover the deep psychological and emotional shifts that happen when you retreat, even if only for a season, and most importantly, we'll walk through exactly how to do it. You'll learn why silence is your best weapon, how secrecy becomes strength, why isolation isn't loneliness, it's refinement. We'll share little-known facts about people who disappeared from the spotlight at their peak and returned stronger. We'll uncover how monk mode isn't just a productivity hack, it's a spiritual reset, and we'll dive into the powerful mindset shifts that happen when the world no longer has access to your energy. This isn't about faking your own death or wiping your digital footprint completely. That's Hollywood. This is real life. And in real life, disappearing is mental, emotional, psychological. It means deleting social media accounts without announcement. It means going silent while you rebuild. It means becoming so focused, so disciplined, that the noise of the outside world fades. By the end of this video, you won't just understand how to disappear. You'll know why it might be the greatest gift you could give yourself. A clean slate, a blank page, a second birth. Why do some of the most powerful transformations happen in secret? Because change is fragile in its early stages. Like a sprout pushing through the soil, it can't withstand too much exposure. The more you talk about it, the more you invite doubt. The more you're seen, the more you're judged. So the wise disappear, not forever, just long enough to become unstoppable. This journey isn't easy. You'll face the discomfort of being misunderstood, the temptation to prove yourself, the pull to return to familiar places and familiar people who only know your past version. But if you can hold on, if you can stay silent while your inner world shifts, you'll emerge as someone new, someone clear, someone unshakable. We'll cover 10 powerful steps you can take to begin disappearing today. Mentally, emotionally, digitally, socially. These aren't random tips. They're based on real strategies used by monks, entrepreneurs, reclusive creatives, and even military escape experts. You'll hear stories you won't find in self-help books, like the coder who walked away from Silicon Valley and became a monk, the artist who deleted all his online profiles and reappeared 3 years later with a global exhibit, the writer who published under a false name for 5 years, completely free from ego. These aren't fairy tales. These are lives rebuilt in the shadows. We live in an age of constant exposure. Every photo, every opinion, every habit shared and judged. But sometimes the most radical move isn't to show more. It's to vanish, to disappear into your own world, to become anonymous for a while so you can grow without interruption. Because when no one's watching, there's no need to impress, no need to rush, no need to perform, just you, quietly rebuilding, silently transforming. That's where power begins. So if you've ever felt tired of being seen but not understood, if you've craved a restart but didn't know where to begin, if you've wanted to burn the old self down and rise from the ashes, then this video is your blueprint. Stick with us until the end, because the last step is the most important one, and most people never make it that far. Welcome to Narrative Society, where we reveal hidden paths to self-mastery. If you're ready to disappear, transform, and emerge unstoppable, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and become part of the story of your own reinvention. Before we talk about how to disappear, we need to understand why disappearing even works. It's not just about avoiding people or running away from responsibilities. It's deeper than that. Disappearing creates a space, a sacred space, one where no opinions, no noise, and no pressure can reach you. When you remove yourself from everyone's expectations, you finally give yourself permission to change. When people are watching you, you're not really free. You edit yourself. You perform. You make decisions based on how they'll look to others. But when no one's looking, that's when the real work begins. When you disappear, you protect your growth, because growth is fragile at first. It's like a sprout pushing through the soil. If someone steps on it too soon, intentionally or not, it dies. That's what outside judgment does. It doesn't have to be loud. Even quiet doubt from others can kill your momentum. That's why disappearing matters. Disappearing means silence, stillness. It means stepping away from social media, stepping out of social circles, and stepping into solitude. Not forever, just long enough to start hearing your own thoughts again, long enough to break old patterns, long enough to rewire your mind without interruption. Imagine trying to reprogram your computer while 10 people are yelling instructions at you. That's what transformation looks like when you stay in the crowd. But step away, everything gets clear. You finally hear your own voice, not theirs, not society's, not the algorithms, yours. People will say you've changed. That's exactly the point. And before we go further into how to actually disappear, let's talk about the first rule. Step 1. The one that protects all the others. Shut your mouth. No announcements. No social media posts saying I'm taking a break. No long explanations. No updates. No hints. Just vanish. Why? Because words are energy. Every time you tell someone what you're planning, you give away a piece of it. You dilute the power. You invite commentary, reactions, and opinions, and once that happens, your plan isn't fully yours anymore. Sharing too soon is a trap. It feels good in the moment, like you've already achieved something, but it's fake momentum. Talking about doing the work feels like doing the work, but it's not. It's a leap. So the first rule of disappearing is don't talk about it. Don't tell people you're working on yourself. Don't say you're going into monk mode. Just go. Let your silence do the talking. Let your absence speak louder than your words ever could. There's a reason ancient warriors trained in the mountains. There's a reason monks seek caves. There's a reason authors disappear for years before releasing their masterpiece. Silence isn't emptiness. It's protection. When no one knows what you're doing, they can't criticize it. When no one knows what you're building, they can't sabotage it. And when no one knows where you're going, they can't try to stop you. This step might sound simple, but it's not easy. We've been trained to overshare. We crave validation. We want someone to say, "That's a great idea," or "I'm proud of you." But the deeper truth is, no one can walk your path for you, and no one has to understand it while you're walking it. Keep your plans secret. Keep your progress quiet. Keep your struggles to yourself. For now. Why? Because talking about it too early invites doubt. And not just from others. From yourself too. Every reaction you get changes how you see your journey. If they approve, you feel pride. If they question it, you feel fear. Either way, you're no longer fully aligned with your own inner voice. Silence protects alignment, and it also builds power.
When you say nothing, people start to wonder,
Curiosity grows. Where did they go? What are they up to? But more importantly, you grow. You become independent from other people's curiosity. You no longer owe the world access to your process. This is especially true in the digital age. Everyone's documenting everything, posting gym selfies, sharing journaling routines, and screenshotting their progress. But real change doesn't need applause. It needs privacy. Silence is sacred. It's not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of strength. You don't need to announce your healing, heal in private. You don't need to post your transformation. Transform in the dark. You don't need to prove anything. Let your life speak later. Because silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something powerful is happening inside. There's another reason to keep quiet. Your brain can get tricked. Studies show that when we talk about our goals, we feel like we've already made progress, even when we haven't started. That's dangerous. It makes us feel satisfied before we've earned it. That fake dopamine hit kills the hunger that would have pushed us to do the work. So if you're serious about disappearing and transforming, zip it. Tell no one. Don't post. Don't hint. Don't even whisper it to people you trust. This is your journey, yours alone. The right people will understand later. The wrong people don't need to understand at all. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need approval to change. You don't need to defend your silence. So stop talking. Start becoming. When you emerge, and only if you choose to, they'll see. And if they don't, it doesn't matter, because the person you'll become won't need their applause. You'll be fueled by something much deeper, your own truth. That's why disappearing works. And that's why the first step is silence. It must first become internal. And to truly disappear and rebuild, the second step is just as vital as the first. Let that sink in. Every time you seek someone's approval, you hand them a piece of your identity. You give them the steering wheel, even if for a second, and transformation requires full control. We grow up needing permission. Permission to try, to change, to be different. Parents, teachers, friends, partners, even strangers on the internet. We let their opinions shape us. But if you're disappearing to become someone new, you have to disconnect from that system entirely. External validation? Toss it. You don't need likes, claps, nods, or praise. You need alignment. You need a deep inner knowing that you are on the right path, even if no one else sees it, especially if no one else sees it. Because here's the truth. The deeper your transformation, the more invisible it will look to those who still see you through your old image. People don't recognize change while it's happening. They only react after it's done. So stop trying to prove anything. Let go of the need to explain yourself. If they don't get it, they don't get it. You're not here to win their approval. You're here to build your reality. This is where many people struggle. They want to disappear, but they still want to be noticed for it. They want to be low-key, but hope someone still says, "Wow, you've changed." That defeats the purpose. Caring only about your opinion doesn't mean becoming arrogant or close-minded. It means becoming clear, grounded, unshaken by noise. It means building such a solid connection with yourself that you stop looking outward for signs. You become your own signal. How do you know you're on track? You feel it. How do you know what's next? You ask yourself. No more polls. No more asking for advice to validate choices you've already made in your heart. You listen within. There's freedom in that, but it comes with responsibility. You're the compass now. There's no one else to blame, no one else to follow, and that's where real transformation starts. When it's just you, your truth, and your silence. From here, we move into step 3. Keep plans and progress hidden. This builds directly on what we've already talked about, but it goes even further. It's not just about shutting your mouth. It's about treating your evolution like a secret operation, top-level clearance only. And in most cases, that means every time you reveal your plans, you leak energy. Every time you announce your goals, you invite friction. Opinions, doubts, comparisons, even innocent questions like, "How's it going?" can mess with your rhythm. Plans exposed too early get dissected, redirected, or destroyed, especially by well-meaning people. Are you sure that's realistic? That seems risky. What if it doesn't work? Even when they don't mean harm, they plant seeds of doubt. You don't need that. Not now, not during transformation. Think of your process like a building under construction. You wouldn't invite people in while the scaffolding is up, the paint's half done, and the foundation is still drying. You wait, you finish, then you open the doors, work in the shadows, unleash in silence. Let the results speak for themselves. This is where patience comes in. We're used to immediate feedback. Post something, get likes, say something, get reactions. But disappearing means surrendering that loop. It means trusting that the payoff will come later, quietly, powerfully. There's something sacred about progress no one knows about. Waking up early and reading, training in the dark, journaling, healing, building a business, fixing your sleep, forgiving yourself, creating routines that reshape your brain, all without applause. It might feel invisible. It might feel slow, but that's how real change moves. Quiet, steady, hidden, until it's ready. And when it's ready, you won't need to announce it. People will feel it. Something will be different about you. Your energy, your focus, your presence. But by then, it won't even matter what they notice, because you won't be doing it for them. That's the irony. The less you show, the more you grow. The more you hide, the more you build. The more you keep to yourself, the more powerful you become. This step also protects you from self-sabotage. The moment you start sharing progress, you risk getting comfortable. "Look how far I've come," becomes a trap. You settle too soon. You celebrate too early. But when you keep your wins private, you stay hungry. You keep climbing. So let your process be yours alone. No public milestones. No subtle flexes. No fishing for compliments. You're in the lab now. You're in the cave. You're in the forge. And for a while, that's where you'll stay. Silence is not emptiness. It's armor. And when you wear it well, no one can touch your journey. They won't know what you're doing, how far you've come, or where you're headed next. That's how you win. By the time they find out, it's too late to stop you. That's the magic of keeping your plans and progress hidden. It's not secrecy for secrecy's sake. It's discipline. It's protection. It's power. So if you're disappearing to transform, remember, your new life is not a group project. Your growth is not up for review. And your vision is not a public document. Silence is your strategy. Solitude is your shelter. And your opinion is the only one that matters. This is how you protect your evolution. This is how you disappear and win. Transformation isn't pretty. It's not romantic. It's not the glow-up videos or polished timelines. Real growth, it's messy. It's painful. It's quiet nights with tears on your pillow. It's questioning everything you thought you knew about yourself. But that's how it works. Pain is the price of rebirth. You don't get to shed an old version of yourself without grief. The mind doesn't give up its patterns without a fight. The ego doesn't loosen its grip without screaming. Tears, failures, loneliness, they aren't setbacks. They're proof you're in it. You're not watching from the sidelines anymore. You're deep inside the process, and that hurts. Growth by sacrifice. You sacrifice comfort. You sacrifice old relationships. You sacrifice identity. You burn the bridges to who you used to be. And for a while, there's nothing left to stand on. That space in between, the empty, aching space, is sacred. Most people run from it. They distract themselves. They numb. They go back to what's familiar. But if you stay there, if you sit with the pain instead of fleeing from it, something incredible happens. You get honest. You see the truth of your life. You stop pretending. You realize which habits were keeping you small, which people were draining your energy, which dreams were never truly yours. This clarity doesn't come through comfort. It comes through breaking. Going through that kind of inner war reshapes you. It humbles you. And at the same time, it strengthens you in a way nothing else can. You become real, raw, rooted. No fake smiles, no performance, just truth. Pain strips away the layers, and in that rawness, you find your next self waiting. That's why the pain matters. It's not the enemy, it's the initiation. So stop resisting it. Stop asking why it hurts. It hurts because you're shedding the old you. Let it burn. Let it ache. Let it mold you. This is the cost of elevation. To go higher, you must leave parts of yourself behind. And not all of those parts will go quietly. Now, once you've accepted the pain, the path ahead gets more structured. You need a system, a container to hold this transformation. That's where monk mode comes in. The 6-month monk mode challenge is a test of discipline and devotion. It's a reset, a recalibration. Not for show, not for content. This is for your soul. It begins by cutting out distractions. No social media, not for a week, not for a digital detox, for months. You remove the noise, the constant updates, the highlight reels. You give your mind a chance to settle. The silence will feel uncomfortable at first. Then it will feel like oxygen. Next, you detox from dopamine. This doesn't mean you stop feeling joy. It means you stop chasing cheap highs. No endless scrolling, no late night binging, no sugar, no junk information, no random entertainment. You give your brain space to rewire. In that space, boredom creeps in, and then clarity. You start waking up earlier, you reclaim your mornings, you journal, you reflect, you build routines that serve your future, not your ego. You work on yourself when no one is watching. You eat clean, you move your body, you sleep with intention. You build a life of rhythm and repetition that grounds you. And within that structure, something shifts. You start to feel solid, clear, focused. You stop needing so much from the outside world. Your cravings change, your goals sharpen, your time becomes sacred. Monk mode isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Every day, you choose growth over comfort. Every day, You reinforce the new self with action. That's how you reprogram your mind. Not with willpower alone, but with repetition, silence, and inner work. You create mental space by stepping back. Then you fill that space with something better. Silence becomes a tool. Meditation becomes a mirror. Hypnosis, affirmations, or even deep breathing. These are not tricks. They're codes. They speak the language of your subconscious. And once that part of you listens, everything changes. You start catching your thoughts. You stop believing everything your inner critic says. You redirect. You rewrite. Old beliefs fall off. New beliefs take root. You replace old habits with ones that match your new path. You don't just remove. You rebuild. Slowly, daily, quietly. This is reprogramming. You're not just trying to change your life. You're changing the operating system behind it. You stop being reactive. You start being deliberate. Your time, your energy, your choices, everything becomes aligned. You may not see big changes right away. That's okay. Deep change moves like roots under the ground, invisible, slow. But when it breaks the surface, it's undeniable. All of this begins with a decision to embrace pain, to stop running, to get still, to go monk mode, and not for a day, not for a phase, for a season. Long enough to shed the old wiring and replace it with something indestructible. This is not punishment. This is preparation. Because on the other side of this, you won't just feel different. You'll be different. Pain will no longer break you. It will refine you. Silence will no longer scare you. It will strengthen you. Solitude will no longer feel empty. It will feel powerful. This is how you disappear. You embrace the pain. You rebuild in silence. And you reprogram the mind that shaped your old reality. That's how you rise. Choose solitude wisely. Not all silence is created equal, and not every quiet place is fertile ground. Solitude is a tool, and like any tool, it can either build or destroy depending on how you use it. Solitude isn't the same as isolation. It's not about cutting yourself off from the world just to vanish. It's about stepping back with purpose, creating distance, not to hide, but to see clearly, to reset, rebuild, and realign. This is the phase where most people either find themselves or lose themselves entirely. Some take a sabbatical, some move cities, some simply close the door, shut off notifications, and breathe. The outer form doesn't matter. What matters is the intention to use time alone as a container for change. A corporate worker burns out, leaves their job, and disappears into a mountain town for 6 months. No meetings, no deadlines, just quiet mornings, nature, journaling, and deep introspection. They return not just rested, but remade. That's the power of solitude. It gives space to question everything. What am I chasing? Who am I without titles, roles, noise? What parts of me are real, and which are just performance? When the world goes quiet, the truth speaks louder. The masks fall off. The distractions disappear. What's left is raw, uncomfortable, but real. This is where reinvention becomes possible. Not from reading more books or watching more videos, but from facing yourself alone, sitting with your own patterns, witnessing your thoughts, hearing your doubts, and choosing not to run. Solitude doesn't rush. It doesn't offer quick answers. It stretches time so you can stretch yourself. You get to observe your mind like a scientist. Notice what thoughts loop, what emotions flare, what stories repeat. And in that noticing, change begins. You start shedding false identities. the roles you adopted to survive, the dreams you borrowed from others, the habits that never served you. One by one, they lose their grip. In that space, something new starts forming, something truer. It might be quiet at first, a whisper of an idea, a subtle desire, a new rhythm of being, but it grows, slowly, steadily. The key is to choose this solitude with care, not as an escape, but as a sanctuary. Don't fill it with noise. Don't replace people with podcasts or chaos with content. Let the stillness stretch. Let boredom find you. That's where the seeds get planted. There will be hard days. Loneliness will creep in. Old urges will whisper. Doubt will knock, but that's part of the work. Let it come. Let it teach. Not every day needs to be productive. Some days are just for being, for staring out the window, for crying, for laughing at nothing, for remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Solitude is where you meet your own soul, and once that meeting happens, you have a choice. You can return or not. You can re-enter the world with new energy, new direction, and a new self. Or you can choose a new normal altogether. Maybe the spotlight never fits you again. Maybe silence feels more like home. Maybe you reappear, not louder, but calmer, not flashier, but wiser. There's no one way to come back. Some people return to the same life, but they live it with different eyes. They speak slower, move with intention. They're still in the crowd, but untouched by it. Others change everything. New job, new city, new friends. They reinvent. Not just internally, but externally. Their whole life becomes an extension of their solitude. And some never return at all. They find peace in staying low, not hiding, but choosing simplicity. They don't need applause. They don't crave recognition. The reward for them isn't transformation and attention. The reward is freedom. Freedom from noise, from performance, from chasing. This option scares most people. We're trained to reappear, to prove our glow up, to show the world how much we've changed. But what if you don't? What if the most powerful move is staying silent, staying grounded, staying in your truth, unseen? That's real power, when you don't need to be witnessed to feel worthy. The goal isn't to disappear just to return better. The goal is to disappear to find what matters and live from that place, whether the world sees it or not. So choose solitude with both hands. Enter it like a sacred cave. Don't fear the dark. Don't rush the light. Stay long enough for the false parts of you to dissolve. Stay long enough for the real you to emerge. When you do return, if you do, you'll be walking differently. Not because you trained yourself to be someone else, but because you remembered who you are, and that memory, born in silence, shaped by solitude, becomes your compass for the rest of your life. Disappearing isn't running away. It's not quitting. It's not giving up. It's hitting pause on everything external, so you can finally hear what's inside. It's choosing solitude not as an escape, but as a strategy, a quiet, powerful move to rebuild yourself where no one's watching. In that space, you break down what's false. You let go of noise, masks, and pressure, and slowly you create a version of yourself that's aligned, grounded, and unshakable. When you return, if you choose to, you're not the same. You're stronger, clearer, not needing validation, not rushing to prove anything, just walking your path on your terms. And that's the real reward. Freedom. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next step in your journey. Your transformation starts now.